Hi there, Starseed. I am here to talk about you. Who are you? Do you know who you are? Have you been longing for the answers? Have you been looking for the truth? I think we all have. I think we all go through a phase in our own awakening to ask the question, who am I? And subsequently, why am I here at this time? What is my greater mission? What is my greater purpose? What is the point of all of this? Well, I want to ease your burden a little bit. I want to let you know that you don't have to know who you are. You don't have to know why you're here in order to complete your mission. And actually, the whole point of attempting to identify ourselves in this crazy, limited, convoluted universe that we're in takes away from really who we are. Because anytime you want to identify or need to identify yourself, you are taking yourself away from yourself. Regardless if you identify as a carpenter or a woodworker or a spiritualist or a Palladian or a hybrid, all of those identities will take you away from the only thing that you need to figure out. And the beautiful thing about attempting to figure out our soul is that it doesn't require figuring out. Because just like our identity, the second that you try and comprehend or understand what the soul is, you take a step back from the soul. You walk out of yourself. So it's really important that we begin our understanding of our existence with the acceptance that we will never know, and that it's okay not knowing. And the second that I believe, anyway, we can accept the not knowing of who we are, is the second that we are able to fully surrender to who we are, which is really truly just a piece of pure source consciousness. And in that not comprehending, in that not knowing, in that not categorizing, containering, or limiting, we are one with pure source. We are just being in our essence. So any sort of distraction, any sort of attachment, any sort of memories of the past, any sort of identifiers that you hold on to in the present, those will all take you away from the actual point of existing and being. And for me personally, the more I have the experience of nothingness and everything all at the same time, the more I realize that none of this bullshit matters. None of this. It does, but it doesn't. They are reflections of Source, but it is not the wholeness of Source. This body, these rings, this hair is a reflection of Source. It's a piece of the bigger puzzle, but it's not Source. And to try and identify and label and experience ourselves and figure out who we really are, we're taking away from the everything because we're only identifying with a piece of the whole. And you will be a dog that is perpetually chasing its tail if you get caught up in trying to conceptualize energies, frequencies that can simply not be described or defined by the English language, or any language to be matter of fact. So I came up with a title. Speaking of not working with titles, I came up with the title, and it's called Transient Identity. And I feel like that's a place that we should all be in. Now, for example, let's just kind of black and white, male, female, gender identity, all right? I look, especially with this pink shirt and this curly hair, I look very divine feminine. Energetically, I feel extremely divine masculine, and I have a lot of those sort of divine masculine traits. So the other enmeshment that we get involved in is how other people perceive us as well. So if you perceive me as this girly girl, is that who I am? And of course not. Of course it's not. If you're not firm in your own identity, being fluid and transient and whatever it needs to be in moment to moment, then you will also give your power away and allow others to create your identity for you based on what they're perceiving, which most likely isn't the truth. No matter what you're perceiving of me or what I'm perceiving of me, it's always not going to be the truth. It's going to be a piece of the whole. So the best place that we can get into is something called transient identity. And that basically just means that we are allowing ourselves the freedom to be whoever we want to be from moment to moment, whether it be very divine feminine in one moment and very divine masculine in the next, or very much so a coffee drinker in one moment and very much so a tea drinker in the next. As long as we have infinite amount of space to hold any identifiers from moment to moment without any attachment from previous identifiers, then you're free. Then you're sovereign. That's what that really means. When you're able to let go of those identities, all of the identities, all of the categories, that's when you have the freedom to exist in this state of perpetual experience. Because without attaching to identifiers, it allows us to be in a state of change all the time. The only reason why we are stuck on this planet, in this body, at this time, is to grow. The only time we can really grow is through challenge, is through resistance, is through experience. Being stuck is choosing to have an attachment over something that has nothing to do with you. Being free is being unattached while having meaningful and present connections with whatever's in your life from moment to moment. You can love unconditionally without attachment. All we need to do for this ultimate divine freedom is to step in to a transient identity. So, if I ask you the question, who are you? The only answer should be, I don't know, and that's okay. I hope that this came to you at the right time. Of course, we're all, here in this very dense reality, and it can be difficult to navigate. And I have difficulties navigating every day, but then I remind myself to let go, and that's very freeing. So Sending you all lots and lots of love. Have an amazing rest of your day and a great rest of your week. I will see you all in the fifth dimension.